Hi there, Josh here. I'm one of the co-founders of the XYZ Playground and one of the many young thinkers in the community of reverse mentors that we're building out and hope to create an exciting space going forward. As you are aware, if you've watched some of the previous videos, we're putting together a series of short clips sharing thoughts around specific topics and themes in different weeks of the month. This month, the month of March, we're focusing on supply chains and ecosystem thinking. In the previous video, I spoke a bit about how we can learn lessons from digital products and digital interfaces when we think about supply chains, specifically referring to the way that Spotify and Netflix have created their user experiences. Today, I thought that I'd spend a bit of time talking about the problems that we may identify in supply chains and specific ways in thinking that I use to understand those problems and how we can potentially fix them, which means that we'll be able to build more efficient and better supply chains going forward. A great thinker, Ray Dalio, has developed a number of principles that he makes decisions by. And in one of those principles, he refers to something of the cause-effect relationship, where he identifies the cause that is creating the effect. And I think that is a great concept to start thinking through supply chains when we're looking at specific problems that we may need to address inside of those. And even maybe taking a step back when you're conceptualizing an initial supply chain, what is the relevant cause and what does that affect in the system or service that you're providing inside of that space? Something that I'd also like to highlight in thinking about supply chains potentially, and specifically when we start thinking about problems, is that supply chains aren't necessarily always physical. They may be digital. And in this digital age that we're living in, that may give you some other food for thought around how you are engaging in a digital space with your supply chains and with your consumers that you're trying to meet and serve. The second element that I'd like to touch on today is around how are we treating the problem? Are we treating the symptom or are we treating the cause? And I think sometimes when we need to make reactionary decisions and we're forced to make decisions quickly, we can sometimes treat the symptom. That does not mean that that is necessarily wrong, but sometimes it's worthwhile going deeper and actually identifying the cause of the symptom or the cause of the problem and working right the way back or right the way through the supply chain, because that can lead you to a more efficient and effective fixes rather than sort of, putting bandage on a plaster or putting bandage on a wound and having to keep reapplying the bandage going forward. So today's video is rather quick. It's just focusing on two ways that we think about identifying problems inside a supply chain, how to potentially solve those, and how to go deeper in thinking around those problems. So if you'd like to get in touch with us, like I've said before, please visit our website, xyzplayground.com. To the young thinkers out there, if you've got any innovative ideas around more established supply chains that you'd like for us to explore, or sustainable thinking that we can use to understand supply chains, please feel free to get in touch with us. We look forward to having you along with the journey, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.